In a rather dramatic move, Ohio State offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach Brian Hartline is expected to become the new head coach at South Florida. Let's talk about what that means for South Florida, what that means for the Ohio State Buckeyes. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Answer the question in the comments below. How do you feel about Brian Hartline becoming the new head coach at South Florida? Off the rip, I would expect Hartline is going to continue to call plays for Ohio State through the rest of the postseason. Remember, they play number 2 Indiana as the number 1 ranked team in the country on Saturday, and they are my pick to defend their national championship from a year ago and become the first team since 2021-2022 Georgia to go back-to-back. And let's not get it twisted. Brian Hartline has been a tremendous asset to the Buckeyes, and I believe one of its most important assistant coaches since 2018, along with Ryan Day, who was elevated not long after becoming the OC at Ohio State. I don't think you could say that there has been a more important offensive hire other than that guy. Like, we can have these long conversations about Larry Johnson Sr. at defensive line, and everybody understands what he's done both at Penn State and with Ohio State. But Ohio State went from a program that runs the football, puts Heisman trophies on the shelves by running the ball. 2-time Heisman winner Archie Griffin, right? Eddie George, Maurice Clarett, not a Heisman winner, but I'm listing now great tailbacks, right? J.K. Dobbins, Beanie Wells, on and on. But when Brian Hartline got there, he succeeded in doing what other wide receiver coaches had not. He created first-round draft picks and Biletnikoff Award winners. First dude to do that in the 21st century as a position coach, both the Biletnikoff Award and the first-round picks. Before him, Ohio State's last first-round picks at wide receiver were Ted Ginn Jr. and Anthony Gonzalez. Enough time had passed between that and Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, whatnot, that Anthony Gonzalez had been a congressman. But Brian Hartline also played the position, right? He's famously an Ohio State wide receiver, and he had been, I would dare say, as successful, probably more successful as a wide receivers coach at Ohio State than he was as a wide receiver. And that is not, that's not anything to sneeze at. He's been exceptional. He was exceptional wide receiver, and I think he's even better wide receiver coach. This year, he was elevated to play calling offensive coordinator, which I think is on the path of him becoming Bruce Leroy. When you reach that final level, your mind, body, and soul must be one. Like, he was play caller once before. Not play calling. He was offensive coordinator once before, but play calling Ryan Day. Then Chip Kelly enters. They win a national championship. Chip Kelly goes to Vegas to be the Raiders coach, highest paid offensive assistant in the NFL, gets fired 11 games in the season. Hartline, meanwhile, takes over as full-time play caller, and they are playing the most efficient football that they've ever played, playing the least amount of football that they can in the regular season because they're all about the postseason. They're all about trying to win championships that way, keeping their guys fresh on both sides of the field, getting as many dude snaps as they possibly can, spreading the wealth, and still able to create a Heisman front runner in Julian Sand at the quarterback position, which I also think speaks volumes about what Hartline has been able to do as a play caller. He's calling things that guy can run. He's calling things that look good for the Buckeyes on 3rd and long, 3rd and short. He is not force feeding the ball to Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, but it's very clear that we're going to get the ball to, their best players. That's what he's going to say. We are going to get the ball to our best players. And Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate are their best players. Behind them, Bo Jackson is developing to RB1 as a true freshman. First guy to rush for over 100 yards against Michigan in a debut as a true freshman since J.K. Dobbins 2017. Saying got to win against Michigan, something that C.J. Stroud, Will Howard, Kyle McCord struggled to do. Jeremiah Smith kept his word, talking about, I can't lose to them again. Well, he's got one. I think immediately the first thing that comes to mind is, what's the recruiting class going to look like? And I don't think anything's going to change, honestly. I also don't think that Jeremiah Smith, for instance, or Chris Henry, who's expected to sign today, with the Buckeyes are just going to up and leave. I don't see it that way. And I don't think of Brian Hartline as being the kind of guy that wants to poach the roster. I don't. I do think the Buckeyes are going to enter the transfer portal when the season ends, or I should say, be forced to enter the transfer portal if they're still playing football past January 2nd. But I don't think that's going to be anything like the situation that we've seen with, say, Lane Kiffin. I think it'll be more like the situation you see with Will Stein and Oregon. By the way, two of my favorite young coaches getting head coaching jobs in the not Power Four, excuse me, getting head coaching jobs. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about Will Stein at Kentucky. I'm excited about Brian Hartline at South Florida. I'm excited about Eric Morris at Oklahoma State, Alex Galesh at Auburn. I think this is going to be a really cool 2026 for these guys to get and watch, sit and watch them play football. But if you're looking for accolades for Brian Hartline, there's a list, man. South Florida fans ought to be over the moon about this. I never thought that Brian Hartline would leave for a job that wasn't in the Power Four as a head coach, honestly. So being able to get that dude is a tremendous coup to you. And there are a lot of Buckeye fans that are going to be rooting for you because South Florida and Ohio State really ain't rivals. But you also understand, you see the vision already. Hartline can do what Urban Meyer was able to do, just rope off Florida, recruit the hell out of it. And you've seen Jeremiah Smith come from down there, right? And we know some of the best high school football in the country is played in the South Florida area. Now he's just recruiting against, he's recruiting against Mario Cristobal, right? Which Mario's done a really good job of roping that place off. You're recruiting against Mike Norvell at Florida State, which maybe 4 years ago we thought was pretty difficult. And now you're getting to recruit against a new guy at Florida in John Summerall, who ain't going to be throwing the ball over the yard, but also is new to this Power Four head coaching thing. We'll see how that goes for him. I think this is a great place for Hartline to start. And if you're looking as a Buckeye for perhaps somebody to succeed Ryan Day down the line, I think you've already identified Hartline. It's, you like him to go get some experience elsewhere, maybe. I always thought this about Corey Dennis as a quarterbacks coach at Ohio State. He was at TU for a while. He was at UNLV. I'm enjoying the come up here. He is a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant coach. And I think he can create a monster in the American, in the Bulls. Like this is a team that was already really good this year. I mean, spent a lot of time ranked inside the top 25, finishes 9-3 regular season, probably can go 10-3 if they can keep it together without Galesh. We'll see how that goes. But now you know for certain who your guy is going to be in 2026, and you know that your guy can coach ball. You know that your guy can recruit like nobody else. You know your guy is going to outwork his peers. And again, you know you got a guy that's going to put out an offense that's going to go win. Like Julian Sand, 3,000 passing yards this season. Bo Jackson, 952 rushing yards this season. Jeremiah Smith, 942 receiving yards on 72 catches. Carnell Tate, 793 receiving yards on 44 catches. Max Clare, 41 catches, 420. Like, the numbers are going to be there because it's the Buckeyes, but when you take into account, again, they haven't played as much football as they could, these numbers can be that much better. And if Hartline can win a national championship in year one as a coordinator, as a play calling coordinator, this weird thing where 2022 is not really calling plays, or 2023 is not really calling plays, but he's the coordinator. It's just kind of weird. So I keep tripping over it. But all that to say, now you know he can do that. Whether he'll call plays from the sideline, wait and see what the kind of staff he puts together. I would assume it's going to be very good. I would expect to see some names on it that we haven't seen before. And I'm excited about him being the guy down there as I am any other dude getting a G6 job. I'm going to be watching a lot of Bulls football, plain and simple. Would not shock me to see that they make the college football playoff next year, just because I know what he is capable of and how he might be able to make this thing really go in a way that, James Madison has been going. Just year after year, you're right there. Again, extremely excited for Hartline, extremely excited for the Bulls in Tampa. I'm sure Buckeye fans are going, okay, are we going back to Ryan Day as play caller? Because it's not such a bad thing. But also, if you're going to identify a wide receivers coach who you might get, George McDonald, who was coaching for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and is now at LSU, might be a guy that you look at, but there's wide receiver coaches, right? You can go get wide receiver coaches. You can't get another Brian Hartline.